No, you didn't. Oh, I thought it was going to be a puppy. Oh, what a peach.
He's the best. I love you.
Mo's bring me one. Oh, okay.
I mean, this is the life. I want to foster 3 to 9 puppies a week and have 87 baby human children. And I think a podcasting career could make it work.
Yep.
I think Mo's can deal with them for like an hour a week. That seems fine to me.
Woo!
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Welcome to a faraway land.
Oh, I love that song. Putting it on Spotify. Okay. Welcome back, listeners. We are
The Sisters Who've Seen It.
the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And apparently this movie, without me realizing it, is super familiar for our family. Yeah, I didn't know that?
I did know that.
Oh.
And I actually thought you as a kid remembered it, but is this
I
one of those
did.
things that you watched it later in life?
No, I watched it as a kid because we had it. We had it on VHS. But then, you grow up and you don't have a VHS player, and where the heck are they playing this movie when you're growing up? Although it is on Disney Plus.
Okay. I'm already going to get into my fun facts, and I know we like to do the synopsis of the movie, but when this came out, because you're making me think about it, this was a massive flop.
I could see that.
And it only became popular when VHS tapes went out. And I was talking about this with Mose, that we thought, well, how many movies could you, let your kids watch in VHS world, right? I mean, it wasn't like there was a ton that were long and exciting and could keep them entertained. And I bet you Mom and Dad were like, these kids put on Willow for the 88th time because they just sit in front of that magic TV and they're entertained because it was action-packed.
Yeah, oh my gosh, there was so much. Also, let's introduce the movie.
Oh, the thing we never remember. The thing we
No,
remember.
we don't have a
Cares
format
about the
for
movie
that.
Title.
Okay, so the movie this week is Willow.
Ta-da!
So I can understand why this was probably a big flop. One name, Lucas.
Oh.
No, he's great, but I bet people were expecting Star Wars. And they sure didn't get that. No. Star Wars is a very adult plot line and there's kid elements. This is a kid's movie. Straight up.
Do you think it's a kid's movie?
Yes, 1000%.
When you say kid, what ages are you talking about?
Like 8 and up.
Okay, I agree. Well, I would even bump it up to 11, 12 and up. Because I do remember, it's funny, certain scenes, I was really scared.
Yeah, this is dark, but that's how it was in the 80s. Kids' movies were terrifying. Do you remember The Witches?
Ugh. Oh my god, I can't. Don't ruin movie choices I have for you in the future.
We're gonna do that. I'll lose my crap on that movie. And Dark Crystal, which I love.
Totally.
But it was very scary.
Okay, stop naming movies I might suggest for you. You're killing
I'm
me.
making a reference to the scary...
make one reference.
Okay, alright.
So you mentioned George Lucas, but do you know who else is a part of this?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Only know that because you said it in the last episode. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that prior to.
Should we do our synopsis?
Yes.
I think you should go because this is your world, your movie.
My world. I live in this world. All right. So yeah, I consider this very much a kid's movie. Even though it was certainly different than Star Wars, I could argue that this had somewhat of a Star Wars-y format.
Definitely.
I have a plucky outsider who, gosh, everybody just doesn't understand him. And his name is Willow. He's the main dude. And he lives in a town. He's got a family. His family's the best. But people don't take him seriously. And then he finds this baby. And I did not write down the names because they are apparently different species, I think.
A daikini.
Okay. Jeez.
It's a daikini baby.
Daikini baby. So he finds that, and they're like, what do we do? And then these evil dogs are looking for the baby because this baby is like, oh, it's gonna fulfill the prophecy, and the baby, she's gonna defeat the evil queen, and now the queen's trying to kill all the babies, and it's
you
like,
sound like an old man.
It's like Prince of Egypt style, so...
Oh, yeah.
So then he finds the baby and the wizard in his town, because every town has a wizard, I suppose. He's like, yo, you gotta bring this baby to another bikini, and get rid of it. And so then he goes on a little adventure. He meets Val Kilmer, who's great.
Madmartigan.
Which is the worst name. Was he born with it?
I don't understand any of it. And then when I Googled it, I was like, was it like Mad is your first name and then Mortigan? And
right.
No, it's just one, like he's Seal. Like, what?
No last name, no first name, no hyphen.
Yeah.
I just heard there was Mad in it, and I'm like, okay, that sucks.
I wrote these down, but if you read my spelling, you'd be like, no, that's not how you spell that.
Definitely spelled all the names except Willow wrong, so...
Yes.
Exactly.
They nailed that title, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's an easy one. So he meets up with him, and then it's kind of like this whole, all right, give the baby to him. Oh, the baby got lost, and now there's magical stuff. And then he gets roped into basically taking care of the baby because the baby can talk to fairies. I don't know. And then, so now he's taking care of the baby, and then he gets hooked up with Val, Madmartigan again. And it's this whole adventure, and the queen has her daughter, who is... also trying to find the baby and kill the baby, and then it's kind of like, oh, these shenanigans and nanny. And there's also another witch, or like a magical lady, who Willow is like trying to... he finds her, and he's trying to turn her back into a person.
You sound like
because
you're telling a drunk story at a bar.
I am. That's what this movie is. That's probably how George came up with the idea, let's be honest. And then, in the end... good magic and party tricks win. So,
wow.
That's all. That was pretty short, right? I really tried.
That was really short.
That's probably why it sounded like a drunken story.
Wow, I have a much, probably longer description, I think. Okay, so... one of the things I think you missed with Willow is, yes, he's kind of like an outcaster, and, one of the first scenes is the mayor of his town.
I don't know. Who knows?
And he was like, kind of ragging on him, and then he's trying to be this magician.
Right, he's trying to be a wizard.
Yes. And when they're at that festival, he's trying to do magic tricks, and he's trying to be picked to be the apprentice, and this is the year. And he doesn't get it, and everyone's like, oh, Willow, you're a joke, Nobody, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And then this baby kind of, like, lands in his lap. But the thing with the baby that I thought was, like, wild is the evil queen who has basically taken over all of these lands with all of her evil, except there is one prophecy that says that a baby will be born, and if it has this design on its arm and magical powers, it's going to kill you. And she literally roped up all of the pregnant women.
Yeah.
And was watching them give birth, and I was like, that's dark.
Yep, sure is.
But the baby's found. They said, okay, great. She has to do this ritual to kill the baby. But
don't get me started on the ritual.
We're going to talk about the ritual.
I'm going to monologue about it. I'm so annoyed.
Yeah, we got to talk about it. But the midwife is like, you know what? This is nuts. And just literally flees with the baby. And she's like in the mountains. And that's how the baby gets, what did you call it?
It's like Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt.
She's floating down the river.
Floating down the river. So Will is like, oh my God, my kid's found a baby. What's happening? And then he just develops this like kinship with the baby. And it becomes this like bond. And then that's the bigger backstory I would tell. And then the journey is all about the evil queen trying to find him. And him trying to use whatever resources he can. Val Kilmer, the good witch, fighting anything and anywhere, and the amazing, amazing little brownie fairies. They're called brownies. Did you know that? They're called brownies.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know about them brownies.
And it's just action-packed and up-down and, climax and who's gonna win, and you're right. He, conquers all. And it's funny because it's not in the typical way that you would think. And the most obvious thing we are leaving out is that Willow is a little person.
I did say that. You're right.
Because
it does matter.
The Daikini is the human race who are 5 to 6 feet tall. Right. And so you just think to yourself, wow, the odds are against you to take a human baby who is basically 2/3 of your size.
That was a big baby.
Which, oh my God, did you know? Here's a fun fact. There was 2 babies. They looked like whatever. But they had a wig.
I knew it was a wig. I wrote...
You called out Babe's wig. Remember the little pig's wig?
I wrote a note that I was like, is this baby wearing a wig like Babe? Because when I think of wigs, I think of Babe now. So,
Yep.
Wow.
So that would be... My synopsis would give that whole backstory. But it's funny. Throughout the movie, it was almost a movie also about, believe in yourself, because there's Willow, he's I'm not anything, it's not me, what am I, I'm nobody, and they're Willow, you're special, but they never really specifically said you're special because of X. He had to kind of slowly prove it in all these different ways, and that part was interesting. But I'll tell you, this genre, this is your world.
Totally.
I get to a point where I'm it's almost too much for me.
Yeah.
Because I like people and I like dialogue, and, there wasn't a lot of dialogue and backstory, and it was a lot of, cut to this scene, cut to that scene.
Oh my God, yeah. A lot
just
of
all
things.
over the place.
You're zooming through. I was whoa, pump the brakes. What is happening?
Yeah. Okay, I do have some good fun facts now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
The dogs.
They're scary.
Do you know about the dogs?
No, they look like warthogs, but they're not. I don't know what they are.
So those are real dogs.
Great.
And they literally put a mask and...
Okay,
But wait, do you know what kind of dogs, Katie?
Was it a Wawawa?
It was a Wawawa.
Wow, really?
It's your dog. It's your dog.
That's my baby. They looked very
They looked lower to the ground. They didn't look as tall to me in my mind.
I guess I was thinking of the chest. I felt like the chest was very big, but disproportionately
they had a
so.
donkey costume.
Oh,
they added all these costume elements.
God.
Yeah, I had to tell you that before.
Wow, animal stars. I'll let Bear know when he wakes up tomorrow.
Okay, let me throw out movies that I read that people criticized. George Lucas, Ron Howard kind of not stole, but paid tribute to.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, absolutely. To the point that Siskel and Ebert were mad about it. They were this is boring. This is Star Wars again.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is a little bit.
Gulliver's Travels.
With the brownies, yeah.
Yep. Snow White and the Wizard of Oz. Peter Pan.
With...
And, all the fairy stuff.
What? I mean...
I know.
All right.
But the other thing that I read that I thought was kind of, fascinating, because I was Wizard of Oz. Okay, I get it. It's, little people. They wanted to call this movie The Munchkins.
No, thank God they didn't. What the... Madmartigan!
Because George Lucas met Warwick Davis, who was Willow, from Star Wars.
Yeah, he was an Ewok.
And he wrote this movie for him.
Oh! I love
so
that.
Then he was gonna call it the Munchkins, and
but that's
Georgie.
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, you're stop, Georgie.
Yeah, Warwick Davis. So he was very young when he was in Star Wars, and 17. I'm pretty sure he was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi. Because he looked very young in this movie. I mean, I wrote a note being I wonder how old he is, because
I'm gonna look that up right now.
He looks like he could be 20.
Yeah,
just a young.
He was 17. Holy cow!
In Willow?
Yeah. What? Star Wars, it was back to back, because they probably filmed earlier than it was released.
Well, Return of the Jedi was also the last of the original trilogy, so that's very interesting. I mean, I love Warwick Davis. I thought he was
fantastic.
He was so good. Yeah.
He was really good.
I really liked him. I really liked the character. I kind of liked how the plot I mean, again, it's very Star Wars-esque in the sense that you got this person and they're kind of like, ho hum, my life is whatever. I want more. I want adventure. Or I want something. I want to be a wizard. And then, you know, something happens and you kind of get roped into it. But I kind of liked how the adventure, if you will, for him was to take care of a baby. Because
I did love that.
He's a guy. And
I love that.
they make a lot of references like, oh, find a woman to take care of the baby. But I liked how they kind of normalized it. And he wasn't like, I'm not taking care of that grouse. He was like, all right, I'm a dad. Gotta feed the baby. Gotta change the baby. And like, he was just normal about it.
He was mad because Val Kilmer, let's say we did stereotypical male, you know, actors, male dad actors of like, oh, does the baby need changing?
Right.
And Val Kilmer didn't care. Willow was like a little much sometimes. Like, excuse me, you cannot drive this fast with this baby. Excuse me, she needs her milk. Excuse me.
He's like a tiger dad.
Yeah, well, and like literally, like people have swords out that are gonna kill him. And he's like, excuse me, she cannot have that plant. And you're like, people are gonna die. Like, Willow, chill out, bro. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, wait, let me ask you something before we like really dig into it. And I don't know if I made this up, but when the movie started,
yes,
and the credits came out, do you know who was the first name that came up?
Probably Val Kilmer.
Wah, wah. It was. No, wah, wah, like you're right. It was.
Yeah,
Even though Warwick Davis was the first star.
Literally.
Apparently George Lucas was pissed about that.
Yeah.
The only thing that shocks me is I honestly wanted to know what the character Willow's name was, and then Val Kilmer popped up, and I thought, well, that's annoying.
And you're like, Val Kilmer is not Willow. Confusing.
Well, yeah, kind of. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know he's in it, but like, you know, get to the, Warwick Davis. You know, I was like, oh, right.
I was going to say in the beginning, too, it was like, you know, they were doing the credits and kind of like establishing stuff. And then they had the prophecy and it was reading, which again, Star Wars people. There it is. Anyway, and I wrote, oh God, reading. It's hard to type and read. And yeah, that's how I felt about that. Could have just been in dialogue, personally.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long of a story, right?
No.
Like, it was like, she's evil, apparently some baby's gonna kill her. Go.
Exactly. But that's like what the words were. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The whole Star Wars format, when I'm thinking of all the other movies that it kind of pays tribute to, I'm not like you. I don't know anything about Star Wars. I'm like a nerd's worst nightmare because I don't know anything. And the other film that they, you know, apparently paid tribute to were these Japanese like Godzilla movies with some of those creatures. Which is like interesting to me. But this fact made me make a lot of sense to this film. George Lucas wrote it for Warwick Davis, you know, had this whole, and it was, yes, in the Star Wars time, so yes, it had kind of the same theme, but it was rewritten 6 times.
What?
So I feel like they just kept adding and glomming, and it was very dicey. And that's what distracted me in the entire film is like, cool, I get it. We're going to kill the queen. We got the baby. We got adventures. But you could have put in any adventure. It wasn't like I believed one adventure over the other, or there was a map in the beginning, and I thought, oh, we got to do this and that. Oh, that's going to be cool and exciting. No. It just was like all over the place.
There was a map? I don't even remember that.
No, there wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish there was. I
was like, I missed that. Oh, boy.
No, see, wouldn't it be good if
Where
it was
the
like,
map?
if you had something to say, like, we know where we're going and what we're doing, and yeah.
I wonder if they kept rewriting it, though, because they felt it was too Star Wars-y. So they're like,
oh, I bet.
Gotta change this, gotta change that. I mean, obviously, you know, there's some parts that are different. And again, I think the baby part is the biggest difference. And I love that because if it was just, oh, this guy was chosen or he has to go like fight the evil queen. Ugh, I don't care. But the baby part was the best.
It was cute. It was.
That baby deserves a baby Oscar.
Oh.
Yeah.
A Boscar, if you will?
a Boscar, if you will. The Boscar goes to the baby with the babe wig for Willow. It was just so cute.
Yeah, it was like, she smiled a lot, was so chill.
She had like these eyebrow where she'd be like raising one and like making a weird face. I'm like, how did they get the baby to do that?
Very animated.
I don't know.
But not over the top, like adorable. Always kind of lighten the mood.
Super cute.
You know what I also thought was super cute? The relationship between Willow and his BFF, Migosh.
Migosh. He was cute.
Were they not adorable?
That reminded me of Lord of the Rings. So that might be another homage-y type thing.
Yeah, but I thought, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s, we talk about all the things that they do wrong. I like that. Men used to have friendships with other men. And I did like it. It was so loving, and it was like, I'm just gonna do, it was supportive, and it was emotional, and it was, I'm just gonna go without any self-interest because I love you. Mm-hmm. And we could use some of that these days, I tell you. I feel like, when's the last movie you see two guys, you know, that are just being great friends and loving each other with no agenda? I mean, I can't even think of one. I'm sure there are.
I have to think about it, but
like, it's not top of mind, you know?
Right.
Okay, so we should break down some scenes, don't you think?
Okay,
we have to talk about what I thought was a character flaw of Willow. When his adorable children,
cutest children in the world.
I literally thought, can I babysit those children?
More Boscars all around.
So many Boscars in this film. Also, this film had...
Boscars?
Okay, I'm probably ruining it. Who had more little people? The Wizard of Oz or Willow?
It probably was this movie, but I would only say that because of the festival scene. Or am I wrong?
It was double. So yes, you're right.
Oh, okay.
I set that up terrible. But I think The Wizard of Oz had like 100, and this film had like 250.
Wow.
Yeah, which I thought was kick-ass. It was the largest little person casted film in history, I think, to this point. Which is wild. But his adorable kids, which I appreciated, they weren't like just kids playing little people. It's like they were actually, thank God, they were actually little people. Like, don't be the worst. And they see this baby, and they're like, Dad. And he's like, get rid of it. Just send it down the river.
He goes, don't touch it. We don't know where it's been. I'm like, it's been in the river. Help the baby.
I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a baby. Go save the baby. And then it cracks me up that he basically rags on not having this baby, is mad at his children for doing the right thing in the situation.
Seriously.
And then all of a sudden he becomes Dad of the Year. It's like, dick, you wanted to send the baby down the river. If it wasn't for your wife, this poor baby would have been headed north on the river.
And then he there's commotion in the field after the kids show him, so he leaves the children, he goes back to the field, and that's when the bald guy...
he's a little much.
Burgle cut.
No, he's a lot much.
Burple cut.
Always got shit on. All the birds kept pooping on him.
Well, he was the worst, and he came and he starts yelling at him for having seeds. It was weird. And then the wife appears and she's like, don't yell at him for the seeds. And then she goes, did you just leave the children alone playing at the river? And he was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like,
again, Willow, not the best dad.
Where are your children tonight, Willow? My God. Gotta watch them. Whew.
Okay, so that's my only... Willow, you acted the hell out of this, and I dug it, but I was kind of annoyed at that first scene. I was kind of annoyed that you told your kids to send some random baby down the river, and thank God for your wife, Kaya, who was like, hey, get the baby. And she also, was so dismissive, it was hilarious. He was like, Kaya, let go of that baby, and she would just, smiled at him and walked away.
She's like, I run this house, bitch.
She's like, you're so silly. I run everything, Willow.
I loved her. I thought the family, just their dynamic, it was really good.
They were really good.
They were a really cute family.
They were really cute. Okay, but did you think they were a little much in the one scene?
Which one?
When he goes off on the adventure. Do you think that part was a little much? It was a little much. Let's talk about it.
And by much, do you mean don't cut your braid off and hand it to your husband.
Yeah.
What's my husband gonna do with a braid? What was he gonna do with it? Is it a bro?
They never referenced it the entire movie.
He did at one point.
He did? At what point? I must have blacked out.
When they're at the evil castle and they're gonna do the old, like, it's just us. No one else is here. Don't look behind us trick. And he reaches down and her braid is like hanging out of his belt loop and he like rubs it with his finger and that was it. So thank God the braid was there.
Yeah, no.
Just, it was too much.
Well, and that was the thing, is like she had all this confidence and she was this just like pure person.
Yes.
And it actually was really sweet when she's like, I'm gonna miss you so much. And just the cutting off a braid, I mean, that's equivalent to like a serial killer movie. Like, here's my braid, I love you.
Make a voodoo doll of me for later.
Yeah, it was a little like, Kaya, you were so good, and then Kaya.
Well, she did say, she was like, we've never been apart, so maybe she doesn't like know what to do when people say goodbye, you know? It's like,
clearly.
Weird.
You don't do that.
Yeah, whoa. Too much.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then Val Kilmer, Madmartigan, he apparently ad-libbed all of his lines.
Wow.
Not all, most.
I love that, actually. I think that's awesome.
I had a love-hate for the character. Like, I had a... And not... You know how some characters are supposed to be kind of crap? Stupid! So you're supposed to not like them?
Yep.
Not about that. It was like, some scenes I thought he was an incredible actor. Other scenes, I thought he was over the top.
I mean...
Okay, and I'm gonna call out one scene, because I laughed out loud when it should have been serious. Like, it was a serious moment, and I hysterically laughed. So... I believe he gets out of the cage.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm free. And then they start walking and Willow is like, Madmartigan, you have to help us. Like, please, you're 10 times bigger than me, please. And so at this point, the little brownies, which we definitely have to talk about the brownie characters, they're like, we're going this way. This is the way. And
over it.
Val Kilmer loses it.
Yes.
Val Kilmer screams at the top of his lungs and he goes, ah! And I thought to myself, oh my God, this must be an important scene where, like, something's gonna happen, and what does he know that we don't know? And he was like, I was going that way. And I'm like, wait, you overacted because you guys are going the same way?
Wait,
like,
but
you're in a forest, just like go to the left. What?
No, but
I think so weird.
I think that scene was meant to be his character kept putting on this front, like, I don't want to be around you guys, go away. But then he kind of was like getting a little soft and he was internally changing his mind, like, okay, maybe I should help them. So when they said, oh, we're going to the lake, he, I think, overacted because he was pretending to be like, oh, I was going that way. But he really wasn't. I think he just said that so he could stay with them. Okay, Bridget, that's a big reaction. We don't need to throw our phone.
No, my leg hit the charger.
No, don't do that.
Oh my God, Katie. Wow, you've opened my eyes.
That's what it was, I'm pretty sure.
He might have acted so well that I thought he was being a shit actor when he was trying to be a shit actor.
I think that was the point. It was supposed to be him just faking.
God, you opened my eyes.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense. But, I mean, okay, I just feel like every now and then he was like a little much, but now... If I look at it with that lens, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember his, like, buddy with the blonde hair, and he's also a soldier? I mean, he kind of overacted that death. Do you remember that scene? Where he was like, his last breath, he was like, lifted his head up very dramatically, and then just like, as if you and I are 6 years old, putting invisible swords in ourselves and being like, I'm dead!
Yeah.
Last breath. I thought that was a little much.
I remembered there was kind of like a guy that he knew, and it was the blonde guy. Didn't think he was gonna be in like 20 scenes, but there he was.
He was in a lot.
Didn't invite him.
Nope.
I don't know. Yeah, not a fan. I love Val Kilmer though, but you know what I think it is too? More in a reflective way. I can't speak to how I would have reacted when I first saw this I mean, I'm sure I liked him as a kid because he's funny.
Yeah, he is funny. I remembered him being funny.
But you think of him, he was Batman. He was in Batman Forever. And as we know Batman ain't funny. Batman is very serious and talks like this. And he did a good job with that too. But it's like you see him playing that character and he did it well. But then you see this, which is like cuckoo bananas. Mm-hmm. His hair, so long. Locks of love. So
it was sexy.
That was it.
I was like, for whatever reason, society has accepted women to have longer hair and men to have shorter. I'm down to flip that script. I'm down for us to shave our heads because Val Kilmer looked hot. And those braids just I was gonna say,
just the braids. Be like, Val, let me braid your hair.
Oh, God. I was like, you are sexy. So your point on he played Batman and all this other like crazy stuff. I mean, he went to Juilliard. Like he's some like serious stuff, man. He has range. I think in general, those characters in the 80s or those actors in the 80s got stuck in a typecast.
Yeah.
And I think he was somebody that was like, I'm professional. I want to go everywhere. I want to do everything.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. And they had a good dynamic. Willow was type A and like the helicopter dad of like, feed her milk. And Val Kilmer was like, having floozies with women and just...
Val Kilmer's cross-dressing
in medieval times? I mean, what era was this? We don't know.
Couldn't he have just like gone out the window?
Well, he's the greatest swordsman in the world, but he like is afraid of one dude. And you're just thinking to yourself, you fought armies. I'm so confused. He had this weird overconfidence in certain scenes and then completely like, ooh, I'm scared. There's a scary man and here I go. I guess I'll fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's Laura Denham. That's the baby's name.
Alora? Kind of was it Alora?
Alora Denham. You're right. Alora. See, I can't spell. I'm just writing random things. Nobody should read this.
Aloha Mora.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking up the brownies. Okay, so the brownies have a very like pretty serious actor. Do you know who this is? Did you notice for the brownies?
No.
What? You didn't?
Who? No.
Kevin Pollak. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
You do. You definitely do. Hold on.
Name some other movies.
I'm gonna name them he's in so many movies, his thing is like so long.
Oh my God, I do know him.
Of course you do. I knew you'd know him.
He was...
So many films.
Was in Usual Suspects. Wow. Wait, was he Mousehead guy?
He was the one that like always knew the right way to go. Oh, is that... Oh,
Mousehead guy.
Yeah.
He wore a mouse head. Remember? It's dark. Remember? There's death and destruction and despair.
it's
secretly in this
funny.
child movie.
Reading that description and then watching it wasn't as dark.
I don't think it's dark in like it's gonna make you sad, but I think if you look closely, you're kind of like, that might be scary for a 6-year-old. Whoa, what about that? Like, I think it's dark in that way.
I had like some childhood fears come back at the end with the two witches. I specifically remember when I saw that scene, like, oh shit, I think I used to look away as a kid. Because I would do this thing where I'd, put the blanket on all my eyes and like kind of peek and then put the blanket back up. And for whatever reason, I remembered that watching that scene. I was like, oh, this freaked me out as a kid.
I remember when she tries to throw her daughter magic her daughter into the spikes. I was like, that's like Saw.
Yeah.
Like, this is Saw.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid.
But she doesn't.
No, because the good witch saves her, but
yeah,
could have happened. Wait, I want to talk more about the brownies.
Yeah, they were... did we like them? Did we like the brownies, is the question. I don't know.
I mean, I think as like a 6-year-old,
they were kind of like the backyard magician at your neighbor's party where you're like, hilarious, but only for an hour?
Yes, I wanted to be like, all right, okay. I can handle 1 or 2 of the jokes. Don't test me. Don't test brownies. You tested me. And then I got annoyed because it was just the same. They didn't further the plot. Once they come into the plot with the baby and then Willow gets with the baby, literally pretty much, I would argue, from that moment forward, they don't have a purpose.
No, they don't. Well, they're just giving him the way. They're always like, this way, go that way. Like, they were somewhat of a guide, but the joke of it was that they were an inch tall, so they always got left behind. So then you thought, wait a second, so you're the guide that then literally just no one cares about. I don't... Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly.
But it was kind of funny when he fell into the beer and he was like all drunk and they were just kind of like, ooh. He was kind of silly.
That part I appreciated.
Yeah.
But it was just a lot. And he also had the brownies babysit the baby, which is like 50 times their size. And he's like, I'm going to go row to this island.
I thought the same thing.
Wait, why are you leaving the baby? Very weird. Not good babysitters.
No, not at all. You know, Willow should have known better. He's a helicopter dad.
Well, apparently he just leaves children places.
He's got this, like, I'm a great dad. Do you think we have that thing where, like, dads get better props because they just have the lowest bar ever? Are we doing that right now? Do I have implicit bias towards men? Oh,
no.
God. Help me.
I mean, I think he was a good caretaker most of the time.
He did, like, not want the baby, and then he left him again in an island. Shoot, you're right.
He did leave the baby a lot.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses for Willow. He made his choices.
I mean, and then we meet the good witch, who is what kind of animal, Katie? Animal science major Katie.
I wrote my initial reaction was a kinkajou, but I don't think that is exactly right.
I have no idea what that was.
It's a Australian marsupial.
I think I called it. Let me see what ridiculous animal. A meerkat? Did I call it a meerkat? I called it a meerkat.
Bridget, that's Simone from The Lion King.
I have to look up what a meerkat looks like.
It doesn't look like that. I don't even think it can climb a tree. So
what kind of animal was that? Wow, you're right. That's a big dick. No, I'm not that far off. Okay, we're gonna Google this.
I was gonna say, let's just look it up, because kind of in my heart of hearts was like, I'll look that up. No, I didn't. I sure didn't.
It is a brush-tail possum.
Oh, alright. Well, possum.
How do you spell, is that like Pikachu but with a K? Like what?
It's
Kinkajou?
Kinkajou. It's kind of like Pikachu, but spelled totally different, except for the U at the end.
Whatevs. Okay, you're spot on. Wow, I'm impressed. People should look up, Google Kinkajou, people, because...
Kinkajou.
Wow, and then Google brush-tail possum. I actually think, Katie, you did this better. No, you did this better, because the brush-tail possum's got kind of bat ears,
okay,
but a kinkajou's got these little koala ears. And I think they should have used a kinkajou, because here was the thing. It was the good witch, and yes. I thought to myself, I'm kind of scared of you, good witch. What's the vibe going on here?
Her voice was like, I'm an evil witch, and I'm gonna put you in the oven. I was like, we gotta talk like this.
I agree, and I think a kinkajou would have helped. Would have softened the blow, I'll tell you.
Kinkajou.
Or a meerkat.
No, Bridget, they don't climb trees. Oh, dear.
And are meerkats like in the desert?
They're in the savannah. They're in Africa. My God.
Whatever. You deal with that.
Oh, boy. Yeah, but she was interesting. And she also was like, I'm a very young, beautiful woman. Girl!
Yeah, she lied. Or was Willow just that bad at magic?
Oh, snap.
Okay, wait. So famous point of this movie was the morphing?
Yeah.
The that never existed. This was the first movie that did it.
I mean, it was, obviously, it's somewhat dated, but I thought it was cool. Like, some of the animal changes.
Super cool.
The one where she turned into the bird was like, ooh, it's creepy. Little feathers coming out of it.
That held up. And I didn't realize that was the first movie that did it, which I thought, man, I mean, a lot of people knock this movie, and I don't know, it's not horrible.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't, choose to watch it all the time, but there's some, good, I don't know.
Yeah, like the baby Boscar? Come on.
Oh. Which, do you know what Madmartigan, aka Val Kilmer, was calling the baby the whole time? Did you write these notes down?
Sticks?
Why?
Like we're in a band and she's the drummer?
Why was she Sticks? Why? That was so random.
I don't know. I think they were like, we need him to be a bad dad. Except at the end of the movie, we're going to hand him this baby. So.
Yeah, and the whole, I mean, again, this tied to Willow's confidence, where Rizelle, who is the good witch, the meerkat.
No.
She was like, Willow, I am this all-powerful witch, but now that you have this wand, and I definitely have little animal arms, but I can't use the wand, I need you to memorize this long, weird spell and turn me into something else. I kind of want to be like, Rizelle, you're supposed to be almighty and powerful. You can't figure this out. Like, he got you the wand. Throw Willow a break.
Rizelle, you can still talk, too.
Yeah, why can't you just say it yourself and, like, hold his hand with the wand? I just felt like she was trying to have a teaching moment, and Willow already had a confidence problem, and she could have just done it. I agree.
Yeah. And then it's like when he's trying to do the spell on her when they were like captured on a mountain and they're trying to do the spell on her and she's like, you need to concentrate. And he was like, okay. And then Val's talking to him and he's like, shut up. And then the stupid brownies come and they ruin everything. Because #brownies ruin lives.
Brownies are the best when eaten, but that's weird for this movie. Yeah. But it was kind of funny. She kept turning into these other animals and I thought that was kind of cool. But now knowing that was the first time that they could do that technology, I think that was part of the rewrite. They were like, oh, this is a new technology. This is super cool. Let's make her into like 18 animals. And it's just like, you missed the storyline.
You know what's funny though? So they used that technology for her, but they didn't use that for the pig scene. I hate that scene.
You hate it? Wait, you, like, not believable?
No, I hate it, like, I don't want to look at it.
Oh, like it scared you.
It freaks me out. I don't like it. Val Kilmer with big nose? I'm sorry. Did I ask for this? This isn't why I watched this movie. Please, get it together.
I mean, we're skipping to the end, but you're reminding me.
I'm sorry, we're jumping.
No, I love it. I love it. You're reminding me of the end. Yeah, it was creepy. And then you thought to yourself, oh, they're going to turn them all into, like, pig people, but then they're just pigs.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, let me get this straight, evil queen. You don't just kill them?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, your magic is, like, let's have a bunch of pork for dinner? I don't know. Like, Babe deserved more. James Cromwell deserved more for his veganism.
If I have... Sorry.
Do you think... Wait, when did Babe come out? Do you think James Cromwell was like...
Babe was after.
That scene. That evil queen. I'm gonna fight veganism. Oh, wow, that came out way after.
Yeah, what? It was, like, so much after.
But, like, my God, it was bizarre.
It would have been so funny if they all turned into pigs and then James Cromwell comes in and he's like, wait to be pigs, and they attack the castle. Now that would have been an ending.
They all get in a perfect row and they all just like knock down the gate of the moat.
Trot through. Amazing. Iconic. Somebody make the sequel.
Okay, one of my favorite scenes, since we're just jumping around, was I wrote a lot of notes about how beautiful the scenery was. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like New Zealand and Wales, and I think there was part of England, and it was just like beautiful. But it's springtime. Except when all of a sudden we enter a snowy mountain and we're going down a sled.
Oh my God, I love this sled.
This was like a physical comedy moment. They're going down a sled and then Val Kilmer gets left behind and turns into a giant snowball. Who thought of that? That was literally like 10 Things I Hate About You, her on the swing, and Bob again. Bob comes in, and Bob's like, you know what would be great if Val Kilmer was a snowball for no reason. Literally, he runs into the side of the house, shakes it off, and goes, woo, and then moves on with his day. what? That's like the kid element. It was
That's
like
what
kids
I mean,
giggled.
though.
So random.
All of the things that you're like, oh, that's dark. Then they throw in like that or the brownies. It's like every time something scary happens, they're like, better show the brownies and have them say something stupid again to even it out. But I agree. I love that. I thought it was so funny, and I forgot that happened.
Do you think they kept rewriting the script because like the PG-13 committee would come in and they were like, I don't know, and they're like, wait, we have another edited scene, and then they make Val Kilmer run down a hill and become a snowball.
He's a snowball.
How hilarious!
It's for children. Don't worry about the blood. It's okay.
No, we're totally gonna keep the queen killing all the pregnant women's babies. It's fine, but he's a snowball. Focus.
But before that, there was also a silly scene.
Which one?
Do you remember what it was?
I don't know. Which one?
So they're on the mountain, and
okay,
the stupid brown... You know what?
You didn't like these brownies.
They just annoyed me. But you know what? They did help them get out of the cage.
They did.
Anyway, so
Is
they
this
get
the
out of
point
the cage.
Of your story? Okay.
They get out of the cage, and Willow's like, we gotta save the baby. And Val's like, yeah! And I guess before that, he gets hit with powder that...
Oh, the love
makes
powder.
Him...
love the queen's daughter.
But, okay.
I know, continue. I agree.
You see my face.
Why couldn't he fall in love with whoever's in front of him?
Thank you!
Which were men.
Which was Willow.
And that he could have loved Willow.
Could have loved Willow.
Do you know how beautiful that would have been?
That would have been a great plot twist. And then they raised the baby!
Oh my god! And then Kaya would accept him because she's cool as shit.
She'd be like, whatevs, come on in.
Yeah, she'd be like, no, it's fine.
She's like, I'll grow out another braid for you too.
Yeah, we gotta raise the roof for you, but more ways than one, you know what I'm saying? Hey!
Kids movie!
No, I thought about that, and I thought about this love spell, because we saw it with the brownies. It doesn't last, right? Like, he fell in love with the cat, and then it goes away. I think that was the Peter Pan element, but it's like, it could have been funny if he loved Willow, and Willow, like, hated that, and that would have been really just as funny, versus we're gonna now have the queen's daughter, who is, the foreshadowing for her betraying her mom was so boring.
The foreshadowing was this old guy being like, she's gotta betray you, and the queen's like, nah, and that was it. And we're like, oh, so
clearly that's gonna happen. Yeah, you're
okay.
Like, wow, that's why that dude exists. And then I also was mad about her, because let's talk about, like, honey, you're pretty powerful. You're riding horses and you're kicking Val Kilmer in the face, and you know, I don't really like you because you're trying to kill a baby, but whatever, you do you.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
all of a sudden he spouts 10 seconds of compliments, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna turn against my mother and everything I'm doing, and I'm gonna love you. Let's kiss. It's like,
I hated it.
My God.
So weak.
Have a goddamn backbone, woman.
Because you know what it is, too? I don't mind that she changed sides. I just think, like you said, it could have been done a lot better.
Great.
And it almost felt like the writers or whoever were kind of like, the only way to make it happen is if she falls in love with Val. That's the only way. No free will or, like, you know, good choices or, you know, self-reflection. No, that's not a thing. It's only for making out.
And even, like, her mom could have picked the other guy over her, the soldier, and she thought, oh, you know what, forget my mom, she's not little me. Like, there could have been so many times where they had a better plot. She was pretty tough, too. She was like,
yes,
I found it, I got the baby. And the really scary dude that should have got the baby did it. And I thought, oh yeah, she's got the baby. She's like doing her thing. And then she just is like, ooh, Val Kilmer said nice things to me. I love him now. What?
Yeah.
That was annoying.
So the scene where she actually officially changes sides is when they're at that castle that what's the witch's name? Roselle?
Yes.
She is like, we have to go to this castle. That's where the army is. What?
She was wrong.
People are frozen in stone. What?
She ruined it.
She just, I don't know if we can, I need some sources. I need a resume.
I think she was playing everybody.
Jesus Christ. She was just like a talking animal that we gave all this power to.
Not at the end. I guess at the end she showed up a
Whatever.
little bit.
But, so we show up at this castle and it's deserted.
Yeah.
And then there's the fight scene and then there's the monster.
The two-headed monster.
Yeah. But there's nothing that happens in that entire scene that I would genuinely think would make her change her mind. Like, if she saw one of her soldiers roughing up the baby and then was like, oh, that's not right. But it was nothing. It was just, she was just watching Val kill her men.
It made no sense to me. And he had just enslaved her, right? Or was this after?
He had her as a hostage, and then she got away. And then after that was the castle, the monster.
Yeah, they did that, like, really cheesy locked eyes. And I was like, that's it. We made that decision. It's like, can you imagine walking down the street?
No.
Single, locking eyes with some man.
Nope.
He says 10 seconds of Shakespeare-like compliments, and you're like, okay, cool. And then you find out that he is somebody you don't like, hate everything about him, but he looks at you one more time again, and then you think, you know what? That's it. I'm going to change my entire life to be with this man.
No, because I'm not 13 years old.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
She was 13 years old. I knew it. Nope. She was only in 7th grade. That's the only way this makes sense.
Close. They actually started dating and got married after this movie.
You know what? I did know that. I did know that. Doesn't excuse her character flaws, but it's okay.
I wrote a scene when Rizal gets turned into a goat. I wrote, we're back at Babe. And then somehow I wrote, he set up Home Alone style booby traps, which I don't know what I was talking about.
He 1000% did. He did.
Yeah, he did.
It was like people opened a door and they got shot with an arrow. I was like, wait, where was the time? Who has the time?
You're right. This castle. So I did not like the trolls. The creepy
they were
trolls.
Scary.
I thought to myself, this is done well. You know what that reminded me of is what's the really, really scary movie where she comes out of the TV?
The Ring. Bridget,
The
how
Ring.
many times are we going to reference The Ring on this goddamn
Did we? Did we reference it a lot?
Yeah, we referenced it last time. We were talking about a well.
Wow. But that crawling, crawling upside down and down the walls, I was like, ew, this is creepy as hell. I was creeped out.
It was creepy, and they looked creepy.
Yeah, they were creepy.
When he used the magic on the one, and its skin came off.
And it became like a brain. What was that?
I hated it.
I thought to myself, Bob, again, Bob, over the top with your brain.
Bob from Batman and behind the scenes of 10 Things I Hate About You. This is too much, Bob. Jesus.
Oh my god. Oh, here, your point on, because I think her name was Sorcia?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, I literally write, what the fuck? A random kiss? Why are women always so weak in these films?
Thank you.
And then I wrote, the scary guy has the baby. And I go, and somehow runs through an entire army.
Yeah, what?
And then I wrote,
with a baby.
Oh my god, I was like dead sober. What was I writing? I wrote, let's ride, bro-tato chip. What? Bridget.
That's amazing.
Because wasn't that funny that there was an entire war scene, an entire castle, he takes the baby, and then he just like trots through the war.
Yep.
He's just like riding away. It's like, oh, cool, bro.
You're like, worst army ever, guys. We had one job.
It was like someone Irish exiting a party that kept going to the bathroom, like slowly.
Me.
I always Irish exit. Respect.
Me too. It's the best way to leave.
Okay, I know there's stuff in between, but it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So we get to the final scene, and we're getting to the scary, scary witch. And, she turns them into pigs, and Rizal is like, come on, Willow. And he's like, I just don't know. And then she ends up in this naked old woman body. But the scene that cracked me up was, okay, this is another Val Kilmer line that I hated, but maybe you can describe to me how he did this on purpose.
Okay.
Is they were like, how are we going to get in? After like she turns, which by the way, one by one, she turns them one by one from pigs to humans. Like you can't do all of them at one time. We don't have time for this.
I wrote that exact line. I said, ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for this.
Ain't nobody got time for this.
That baby dead.
So, all of a sudden, Will is like, all right, we can't get in. We don't have anything to get through the doors. I got a plan because I'm a farmer. And then Val Kilmer goes, Willow, this is war, not agriculture. Val Kilmer, over the top. But he was talking about the gophers. Okay, so clearly I didn't remember the movie. My brain went, oh my god, duh. You could just dig a tunnel under the castle.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, Shawshank Redemption, we're gonna dig with a spoon. I had no idea. I did not remember how they got in. It
Me either.
still confused me when we finally got to that part where it was just the two of them, and I was like in my head, I was like, where are they? Are they digging with the spoon? Nope.
Well, and I thought the same thing. Like, oh, they're in the back digging. But I also thought, okay, so the evil queen turned an entire army into pigs. And then it's this old woman and Willow. It's like, you can just like put a spell on them.
Turn them into kinkajous. Turn them into meerkats.
You can't like fight them there. And
right.
It's just, I thought that was also weird. But then I thought, oh, I'm kind of surprised by these little holes you dug and then everybody came out. I also thought it was kind of cool.
I'm kind of surprised how the evil army people, their one job is to be watching the castle, and they didn't watch to see where 500 pigs went. I'm surprised too.
Okay, I have another line in here. You're gonna die. So, first of all, you brought up a really good point. You're spot on. They didn't see these pigs going into this mini tent and coming out as humans and being like, hey, let me let the queen know.
And then digging holes.
Yeah.
You can't hide digging holes. People.
Katie, this is part of the 6th rewrite. Leave George Lucas alone.
I don't want to hear it.
So after Val Kilmer makes his obnoxious comment, Willow, this is war, not agriculture. All of a sudden, every single person, and I wrote literally this down, was like, well, I'm gonna fight. And then somebody else stands up and says, well, I'm gonna fight. And somebody else stands up, and I wrote, this is the Mighty Ducks scene. Where they all stand, and he's like, I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's me.
And they're gonna be like, quack,
Gordon
quack,
Bombay.
quack, 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 quack.
Literally. Okay, if you rewatch that scene
and play quacks over it,
it literally reminds you of Mighty Ducks, but Mighty Ducks did it better. Let's just call a spade a spade. And I just cannot. Okay, so we gotta talk about the ritual, because you mentioned this, and I wrote a lot about why is it so long? It took like 18 days.
Okay, so before that though, I do want to point out one part that I thought was very funny. It was very subtle, just going back to when they first get to the evil castle, and it's before the pigs, and it's the whole army, and the evil queen sees her daughter, and I guess she is like, she turned against me, and she doesn't say that, but you know, you can kind of tell, because I think the daughter said something to her.
No, she was like, Mother! She was like a teenager.
Stop it!
Yeah, Mom, stop killing these people that I've helped you kill.
This is my new boyfriend we met an hour ago. But she says whatever she says, and the queen, like, reacts. You can see her reaction, but then the camera, it shows the face of the old guy who said, like, the foreshadowing. He was just giving his face like, told ya.
Wow. So that was his 2 scenes.
I was like, we didn't need that, guys. Like, we
No,
understand. We as an audience understand.
Oh my god.
Anyway, but yeah, the ritual, it took so long, and it involved the queen and the baby being wrapped up like mummies.
Oh, I wrote other things.
The baby was in a Hannibal Lecter straitjacket.
I wrote like BDSM straitjacket because I thought it was inappropriate black leather straps on a baby.
Oh dear.
I mean, it was inappropriate.
It was weird. I don't even know. My sense of time was so lost with this whole part. How long were we pigs? How long did we dig holes? How long are we saying words to babies? How long is the mummy wrapping happening? I don't know. But really, I just feel like the way they edited it was the worst, because when you see her starting the ritual, it's literally right after they turn into pigs. And then there's so much more that happens. And they gave the baby a haircut during that, and then the evil witch was like really sweaty, or she was wet, or it was raining. I don't know. Like, it was just no, too much.
It was too much. But don't worry, there was no guards, so literally Willow and the old woman are like, la la la, let me walk up to where the queen is in this giant castle, because there's no guards. And she didn't even say, like, how'd you get in here? She was like, oh, here we are. Ooh. And I thought to myself, why do you have a castle if, like, nobody is on guard?
No, she had guards, but you know who they were. It was that old judgy guy and then some other old guy, and they were like, we're gonna get her with our cane. No.
And you know what? You're right. There was these, like, scary monks that were like, home, and they were, like, walking back and forth, and they were like, the ritual has begun.
The ritual began 18 million hours ago. Don't worry.
Okay, so my other memory as a child is to have this good witch, which I realize is a bad thing, that I see an old lady and I just assume she's, like, evil because I've been trained as a kid to think old ladies are evil. Yeah. But, like, when they were fighting each other, I thought they were both evil as a kid. Like, I didn't make the connection that was the good witch protecting the bad witch. I made the connection, like, Willow's good. These two ladies are prey. And, like, I hope Willow protects this baby. That was my mindset as a kid. Okay, but here's the point with that scene. She's running into the spikes. The good witch stops her, and then she gets thrown to the ground and gets knocked out. And can't help the rest of the scene. So then when Willow, once again...
under a rock, in quotation marks.
Oh, hey! But, like, Willow then, saves the day, and she, like, happens to wake up. She's like, what happened?
One thing that bothered me, that I guess I thought more about during this scene, before Willow goes on this journey, this wizard man is like, I'm gonna help you, and you can do it, and I'm gonna give you these magic acorns, and I'm gonna make it so everybody knows about magic acorns, and these acorns are important, and these acorns turn you to stone. So he references it, like, when he meets Val, he's like, I can turn you to stone, and then he tries to throw an acorn when they're at the castle with the trolls, but it doesn't work, and so finally...
he has his moment. He has his acorn moment.
Throws his acorn. The acorn don't do shit.
It looks like it's gonna do something, and she literally crushes it, laughs in his face.
I hated it.
I think there are some super nerds that were really, really mad about that.
Was it me?
Yeah,
was that me?
It's you. Spot on. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it really was worthless. Like, what was the point of that?
There was no point.
And he was like, Willow, you're gonna be a great magician. And then, to be honest, like, he kind of just was a con artist.
I don't know, though. Like, I know that didn't work, and I guess, like, he technically did use magic successfully with Rizal before that. So I didn't mind, actually, how the ending wasn't magic. It was just wits and trickery. It's my old disappearing pig trick. And I was like, okay, but how did you make this bundle of clothes look like there's a baby, but there's not a baby? The disappearing pig trick, you have a stage.
I agree. It was really bizarre because he does the fake baby trick, and somehow the queen gets electrocuted doing her own ritual.
She, like, knocked over the 5,000 bowls of something, and then the lightning.
Like, she was bamboozled by a David Blaine magic trick when she turned an entire army into pigs. But the Rizal was like, well done, Willow! It's like, oh my god, what a weirdo. Yeah. So okay, we killed the queen to the nth degree. When Willow comes back to the village, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know Parks and Rec? What is it?
Little Sebastian. I wrote a note about that. And again, the queen dies, and then we're like, yay. And then it's like a quick cut to now everybody's clean and happy and it's daytime, and Val Kilmer and the sorcerer lady are now the new parents, and we don't need to do any questioning about that. We're just gonna leave this baby with these people and hope for the best. And then he's given little Sebastian to ride home.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, little Sebastian. Miss you in the slightest fashion.
Script rewrites.
He rode a full-size horse earlier in the movie. By himself. He did like a gymnastics move and got on the horse.
I agree.
By himself while holding the baby.
Actually, I was specifically impressed by that scene.
I wrote gymnastics gold. Simone Biles. Amazing.
Totally. Willow wishes he was Simone Biles.
With a baby.
Wow,
yep.
we really, I mean, all in all, It was fun. It was lighthearted. I wouldn't watch it again.
Would you show it to your 80 kids?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. If I was like, oh shit, I gotta do stuff and like keep them busy. I think it was a keep a kid busy movie. Is there life lessons?
I mean, I think it's like believe in yourself, don't give up, you know, the whole
But like,
shebang.
don't give up to do a fake magic trick at the end? Come on.
Yeah, and save a baby from being
But then you just
murdered.
leave it with some random people? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay,
you don't
cool,
do that.
Cool. What was Dad's quote? I'm dying. What is Dad's quote?
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna email it to you.
You get emails? Oh yeah, because I get to play it. Yes! I'm gonna press play right now.
What did you think of the movie Willow?
Willow. Geez, I must have watched Willow about 10 times because that's all Jimmy watched when he was small, and the only thing I remember is Val Kilmer in a cage.
Oh my god! Holy cow! Does that sum up the movie or what?
But like
He summed up the... So this is why I watched this so much, even being scared. Jimmy loved the movie. Jimmy ruled the TV. And this makes so much sense now.
and all we remember is Val Kilmer in a cage, so.
Wow, that was a great dad quote. So what did you think? Did you like my pick? Did you learn something about our family?
I've always enjoyed this movie. I like this movie. There's definitely parts that bother me that I just don't have tolerance for anymore being older, but
It's a kid movie.
I think there's enough in it that I appreciate. And, you know, if I were to watch it again, I think it's one of those movies that I can have on. I don't need to be paying too much attention because honestly, if you don't pay too much attention, you're not going to miss much.
It might actually be better not paying as much attention.
Well,
yeah, like don't even try to get the plot. Just enjoy the adventure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of enjoyable, and like you said, the scenery and the music, and there's a lot of little good pieces. And hey, I'll say it again, man, Boscars. Boscars were deserved for this movie, so that's where I'm gonna leave you on that. But you picked this movie for me, so you know what that means. Yeah. So I get to pick a movie for you. And listeners, I did cheat. I asked Bridget, would she prefer a indie movie or a musical? And what'd you pick, Bridge?
Indie. What
So
is I'm on the edge of my sea? Because we're gonna sing that I didn't pick a musical.
we didn't pick a musical. So the indie movie that I picked is 1000% not what you're thinking it is at all.
I'm not thinking anything.
You might be.
Oh.
And don't do it.
Okay.
And so this movie is indie not only because it's an independent film, but I would argue it is also indie in the sense that you could kind of argue there's no plot. It's just kind of there. But it's very funny.
Oh.
Very memorable.
Oh.
And again, me personally, I would argue it has a very iconic soundtrack, which others may disagree with me on, but I'm going to stand by that. This is a movie from, I'm 99% sure, 2004, but let me... Yes,
that's
2004.
high school for me.
The movie that we will be watching is Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, we needed this.
Told you we weren't thinking that.
Oh, I was never thinking that. That's an awesome pick.
Yeah.
Wow. I almost want to dress up for it and like look at each other in outfits.
Should we memorize the dance? What do you think? Too much? Not enough? Let me know. I'm ready. Always ready.
Oh my god. Wow, you threw me for a loop. I dig it. I dig it, Kate.
Yeah.
Cool. Good picks. In good time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I love you.
I love you.
And do you know how much I love you?
How much?
I would cut off my braid and give it to you.
I would turn myself into a meerkat for you.
Oh,
So
a Pikachu?
A kinkajou. Pikachu. Yeah.
Wait a second. Katie, we have at this stage, which no one understands how many we've recorded versus how many we've released.
Yeah.
We have 2 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Whoa!
Making a total of a 5-star review. So, not only do you have listeners, because I'm putting everything on you since you're the one doing everything.
Oh my god.
But you have high quality listeners.
Wow.
Okay, don't be embarrassed now. Are you kidding me?
Not. No,
Miss
it's
PR?
exciting.
Okay.
It's exciting. And actually, other listeners, if you like us, you can give us a review.
I don't get how it works.
So I usually listen to stuff on Spotify, and you can't review anything on there. But Apple Podcasts, you can review. I think on Google you can. And then if you use any of those other rando podcasting sites, you can leave a review. So if you're feeling really passionate about us and our words, knock yourself out. It would be so nice. So nice.
Okay, I love you.
Love you. Listeners, we'll see you next week. Gosh! Okay. Could be a lot of that.
Toodles.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, among other podcasting websites. Or listen on our website at sisterswhoseenit.buzzsprout.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at SistersWho'Seen and on Instagram at SistersWho'Seenit, all spaced with underscores. See you next week.